Hey guys, Howdy555 here. You may have seen from last week's end of the funny bit clip that we picked up something weird from the side of the road here. You might be wondering what these are. I've got this one in my pannier here, and we're going to take it home and we're going to show you. Some of you may know what that actually is, but a lot of you wouldn't have a clue. Even if you live in Australia, you probably don't even have a clue what that thing is. It looks like an overgrown pine cone, and essentially it is. But it actually contains nuts that are edible. So what is it? Well, it's a bunya nut. Yep, from the bunya tree. Maybe you watched a previous video where I went up to the Bunya Mountains, and up there's lots of bunya trees. And they're the nuts, essentially, these big pine cones that grow on the bunya tree, and they fall off the tree and you can collect them. So what you do with the nut is you collect it, you got to cut it open and pull out the seeds, and then you can roast them and then de-shell them and then eat them. There's a lot of effort, but they're well worth it. I've never really eaten one before, but from what I can tell, it's well worth it. Now last week we actually got one from the markets in Toowoomba, and it was $4. We haven't done anything with the one that we got from the market yet, but I've weighed it and it was 3 kilos, so it'll be interesting to see how heavy this new one is. I believe they're seasonal, so it's only this time of the year that you get them. A big bunya tree will have about 30 to 40 nuts on it. Another way you can prepare the bunya nuts is by boiling them, but the flavour won't be as good as roasting them, so a lot of people don't do that. We're going to be roasting them eventually when we do ours. Wow, some people do like to stop in front of the line. That's very weird. Firstly, you won't be on the sensor, and secondly, you're bloody in the intersection. Gosh. So we're nearly back in Toowoomba after our bit of the road trip up to the north, and you can see it's still very green here. It's quite amazing. Alright, let's get this nut out of here. If these were dry, we'd be able to use them to roast this. They're just composted paper squished down into briquettes. But we might be able to use the barbecue or the cooker, but we've got to get these nuts out of here first. So this is the nut that we bought last weekend from the markets. This one weighs 2.9 kilos, so it's lost a little bit of weight. This one is also roughly 2.9 kilos, so they're about the same size. This is the market one, and this is the roadside one. So that one was $4 and this one is $2.
Thank you. For the record, there's so much food in here. I have no idea how 2 people are going to eat it all, but we'll see.
Yeah. So there's different ways you can open these bunya nuts. We've done some research on the YouTubes, and one bloke cuts it with a machete about here, and then that's the top bit, not to be confused with the bit the stalk comes out of. So he chops it here, and then all of these layers come apart. But we've actually got this one starting to dry out and loosen up itself. So Kristen thinks she can cut it open with her bare hands. So we're going to find out.
I'm going to try anyway. So, oh, actually, this is really easy. That was very easy. So, that's our first nut.
That's nuts.
It's actually more fleshy than I thought that would be. So this is probably one of those moments where you do the fast forward reel right now.
So as you can tell, these bunya nuts are quite hard. So when you roast them, they actually split out of their shell, so you can eat the nut inside. Some people before roasting will actually use a pair of wire snips or something and just give it a bit of a snip, so that way they don't explode in the fire, because it's naturally got a hole for the air to escape. But if you do leave it in the fire and it does explode, you'll end up with a piece of popcorn about this big. Not really. Each one of these sections has a bunya nut inside it. You can actually just pull it apart and there's your nut. This is the quickest way to do it. Just peel them out, and then when you've got the individual sections, you just squeeze them and the nuts fall out. that. Simple. I got you a bunya flower, love.
Oh, just in time for Valentine's.
There you go.
Thank you.
But this video will be after Valentine's Day, love.
Okay.
Jeez.
So these are all the nuts we got from our first Bunya nut. There's actually a lot more here than I thought there would be just from one nut, and given that we only paid $2 on the side of the road, that's actually a lot of food. I know we're probably going to roast these. Some videos on YouTube say that you can boil them in salt, which is fine, but given these are nuts, I think they're going to really benefit from actually being on a fire and roasting properly, because I think we're going to get a lot more flavour out of them.
You just get the nut and you just pull out the sections and crack them up. This one doesn't have much left in it, so we're just going to toss this out.
So, what are your plans with this one?
Crack it open.
No, I'm kidding.
Might have to chop this one.
I don't know. I think you can get it with your bare hands.
I've only got human hands. We can always break into it with this crowbar. Now, we just get these nuts out and complete our harvest.
Geez, hon, there's no need to bust a nut over it.
You look pretty seedy doing that.
There's something appealing to it too.
Jeez, watch out for my nuts. Great shot. Although some would say that's nuts. Alright, give up with these nutty jokes, mate. You'll end up in the nut house. 2 of these roughly 3 kilo bunya nuts has given us this big tray.
Can I hit one with a hammer?
You want to hit one with the hammer?
Can
Here she goes. Random YouTube girl hits a guy's nuts with a hammer.
Oh, I did crack it.
You might be able to just pry it open.
Maybe this goes into the outtakes.
More like the Audi takes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you can see why it was so hard to open. And that's what's inside.
What's it taste like?
Actually, it's kind of sweet. I was expecting it to be very woody, but it's not that bad. I mean, it tastes raw, but it's not inedible. It's pretty good.
Oh, that's smashing. So it's not like a dried peanut where it would be dry and crunchy. This has got a bit of a softness to it.
Somebody wants a hot treat? Yeah, good boy. Let's go. Jinxie, look. What's Daddy got? Yum yums. Jinxie, yummy yummy.
So we're going to be roasting them in the oven. So where it's got this seam along here, you just give that a bit of a tap with a hammer. And you can see it's split a little bit there.
This is really hot, by the way.
So we're going to crack the rest of these and then we're going to try them when they've cooled off a bit. So we've shelled them Wasn't too bad. Now it's time for the taste test.
That's much better.
It's like a little cupcake.
A little cookie.
They're still warm. So I'd say that tastes a lot like a pistachio nut. But if you added flour to a pistachio nut and put it in a blender, squeeze it into a nut, that's what it would taste like.
Yeah, I think it's kind of halfway between a walnut and a pistachio nut.
Yeah.
Because it's still a little bit waxy as well.
A little bit. It's a little bit oily. It's
also very edible.
Yeah, very edible. It's not offensive at all, and you could just sit around the campfire and roast them and enjoy a nice snack. So, probably not the most sought after nut, but you get a lot of them in one bunya nut, and you can certainly make a meal out of them. A lot of energy and carbohydrates and nutrients in those things, so we're going to have some more. And
I guess in the meantime, stay on two wheels and nod in your head.
yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, laters.
Bye. You said it wrong though.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, awkward.
Keep safe out there on the road. Stay on two wheels and not on your head, you bunya nut.
I guess I just have to like and subscribe to watch more.
You've got a lovely bunch of bunya nuts, diddle-dum.
Yeah, thanks, hon. I love when you overshare.